this is part 2 of this video. Now, we're all looking to experience, or the divine within us, or even that holy relationship to divine source, spirit, whatever you identify with, its highest goal, so to speak. And I meant also understand that teaching through the symbolism of words is not always as articulate as the understanding and teaching mechanisms of energetic transfer. So on or within the higher realms, we can more accurately teach these concepts through energetic transference. But again, when we're only teaching through language, which is symbolism, sometimes the message can become a little bit distorted. So our soul, the blueprint of our soul, or that which was created from source or from the divine, its highest expression or its journey home is to experience itself at its very highest vibrational output of, again, this divine relationship. That divine relationship and the ability to procreate, so the ability to create new life, or through the laws of creation, this gift was given. It was meant, again, to create life, to create a new blueprint of life, or essentially can create a new soul. I'm going to bring this discussion back a little bit at the end, because you'll probably say, well, if every time a soul is created, how is there reincarnation? So I do want to get into this discussion. I have a long day planned today, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into the difference between a soul's journey through the reincarnation path, or the reincarnation cycle, and what happens through the laws of creation when a new soul is created, because those are two totally different things, and they both can happen through the energy of, again, two souls coming together. But I will say this: when divine union happens, when two souls, because again, in terms of the twin flame journey or the divine counterpart journey, we are created as a soul, and then we split off into a masculine and a feminine expression. And this is part of the karmic cycle. So throughout this cosmic dance, this dance of going from physical to non-physical, physical to non-physical, through incarnation cycles, through different lifetimes, we are learning. We are understanding our specific soul blueprint through the mechanism of lifetimes, incarnations, and then we go back to the non-physical and we dissect that learning with other souls, with our soul guides, with elders, with higher light beings, and then again we go back down into an incarnated setting and learn more lessons. There definitely are different realms, there are different levels, but I don't want to call it a hierarchy, because again, once you get to this plane of unconditional love, there needn't be a hierarchy system. There's only really a system of learning, and you can think of it like a father and a child, or a mother and a child. A mother or father does not see themselves as higher than the child. They just know that they hold more wisdom. And this is how the system works. At higher levels, the beings, so to speak, have the ability to, or have grown to the capacity where their consciousness can hold more light and love, which is essentially the information of energy. So I'm hoping that this makes sense in terms of the lesson that I'm teaching. So when we think of this going home or this ascension process. When we are on our last incarnation, usually, now sometimes our divine counterpart or twin flame will stay in a non-incarnated state, and this is a possibility. This happens, and it will only be one part of the soul, or a masculine or the feminine expression of the soul, that will be incarnated on earth for the final lifetime or for that journey home. Now, I don't want to scare you with this information either, because when human consciousness hears final for our linear consciousness, this can seem or appear quite daunting, because we think of it as an ending. But this is not how the universe works. It's not how existence works. It's just the ending of this type of incarnation cycle. And then, of course, there is, infinite dimensional realities beyond that, but they are beyond our perception at this juncture, so you don't have to worry about them. All you have to know is that existence is infinite, meaning never ending, meaning there will never be a nothingness, you will never end. So that's really something that you can just, put in your toolkit in terms of dealing with the fears that might come up in terms of human consciousness. So when we have experiences with what I would call karmic helpers or special relationships, spousal relationships, we need to, and part of the lesson of unconditional love is that you need to view these helpers or these karmic individuals that have sacrificed, again, in a certain way, their peace to help mirror back distortion to you. Because oftentimes karmic partners come in a form that is very unpeaceful, unsettling, and chaotic. So the mirroring process is extremely difficult on the karmic partner as well. So once we get into these higher vantage points, we start to realize the extreme love that goes into incarnating as a karmic partner. It's very difficult, and the only reason any soul would choose that role, if we think of everything as essentially a play, the only reason a soul would choose that difficult, chaotic role is for the mechanism of teaching and to mirror distortion. And sometimes that distortion is mirrored at a very heightened level, depending on what your life plan looks like. But if you can always return to that divine seat of the soul, that knowing that everything is working out for your higher good, and that the goal of the universe, the goal of the field, the goal of the divine is always to teach love, and is always to help guide each and every soul and its the singularity of its consciousness back towards light and love. But again, the creator, the spirit, whatever you'd like to call it, it can't force the lessons on you. This is the mechanism of free will. Free will is the highest form of unconditional love, because if we are imposing our will on another, we are not acting in the highest form of love. So just as we must be given the arena to make our own mistakes, make our own decisions through the loving mercy of free will, the loving act of free will, we have to understand that it is up to us as an individual soul to see our own distortions for what they are. And that is difficult, because we also have this tool called the ego. And it is a tool. It can be a little bit frustrating. It can, to some degree, impede progress, but not really as much as you would think, okay? And let me delineate on that a little bit. The ego is a secondary mirror. So you have the mirror of the external reality that we see, three-dimensional reality. I've heard some call it the matrix. You know, there's a lot of different names you can give this earth incarnation. So that is one type of mirror. That mirror that we see as external material reality is our collective consciousness, all creating what we call, again, like this dream world or this matrix. And it is real, it is tangible. We do have a body, so we are sensing it, we are sensing into it and experiencing it, but it is a projection of the collective consciousness. And this is why, in terms of the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of creation, we cannot completely change our outward reality because it is also a collective reality. We can make extreme adjustments through raising our vibration, but again, we're still going to see the outward manifestation of the collective. Okay, so then what is a very internal mirror for us? The ego is mirroring back to us at a soul level, but also solo. It is just our ego and ourself. This is a tool that mirrors back to us distortion. And it was designed and developed for our learning. It is a learning tool. And as we learn to quiet the ego, we are just essentially dispelling distortion, because the ego is distortion. But it was also put in place for our protection, okay? So everything, whether it be the ego, whether it be three-dimensional material reality, whether it be the quantum field that only ever calibrates based on the collective consciousness, okay? All of these different things have been put in place, free will, for our learning. And through this learning, we return home. Absolutely. The goal, the journey is to become one with the divine, to rejoin that perfect purity. But as we are doing this, we are on the cutting edge of creation. So we are also bringing back, through our singular experience, new information to creation. And through the collective consciousness of planet Earth, we are bringing forth new cutting edge information. Everything is expansion. Everything is creation. And hopefully, through this video, I've been able to explain a little bit more of Earth's journey. Now, I didn't get into the divine counterpart or this twin flame relationship as much as I could have, but I still feel that this was a very helpful video. I'm glad I took the time to make it. And again, I will pick apart some of the pieces that I didn't get into in a lengthy discussion in this video and make more videos on it this weekend so that I can really delve into some of the intricacies of Earth School. Okay, have a great weekend.